You've heard about the stalemate in Springfield right now between legislators. What are your thoughts on this right now?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in Illinois state politics. I'm running for president. But what I do believe is there is something wrong when in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, people are squabbling over how we're going to fund education, or how we're going to fund healthcare, or how we're going to fund infrastructure. The essential economic problem in this country today is that we have a massive level of income and wealth inequality. The top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. And what we need to do, in my view, is develop a tax system which is fair, which is equitable, which demands that the wealthiest people and largest corporations start paying their fair share of taxes, and then we can get money out to the states and the communities to do the work that they need.
Now, you spoke at Southern Illinois University. It's one of the many public universities affected by this in the Capitol. What would you like to say to those students who are not getting the help that they were promised, and the workers who are getting laid off?
It is tragic. It is tragic and it is crazy. Everybody knows that we need the best educated workforce in the world in a competitive global economy. To be denying students the right to get the education they need to succeed in life is absolutely unacceptable. And that is why, as a nation, we've got to get our priorities right. You don't give tax breaks to billionaires and loopholes to large corporations and then say to working class kids, sorry, you cannot get the education that you need.
Now, sir, as of last night at the Illini Union here on campus, it's one of the voting places, nearly 1,700 people turned out, which is more than double than they have in primaries in the past. What do you think that says?
I'm sorry, they turned out for what, to vote?
They turned out to vote, yes.
Okay.
And why do you think this voter turnout is so high right now? Do you feel any responsibility?
I take some credit for it, if that's the question. Yeah, I think what we have been saying to the people of America is the only way we transform this country, the only way we create an economy that works for all of us and not just the 1%, is when millions of people get involved in the political process in a way that we have not seen in recent years. And I'm very pleased that in a number of states that we have competed in, we now have seen the largest voter turnouts ever. Kansas, Maine, Colorado was very strong, Michigan was very strong. So I'm proud of that. And I think if my message is resonating with people who say, you know what, we are going to participate, we are going to vote, we're going to stand up, we are going to fight back, we're going to create an economy that works for all of us. If that is the case, then I'm feeling very good.
Now, aside from your plan for colleges across the country, what do you think is resonating with these young voters?
I think when you're young, you have a sense of idealism, and you look out around you and you say, why do we have more people in jail than any other country? Why do we still have institutional racism? Why do we have sexism? Why aren't we doing more to address the planetary crisis of climate change? Why is it that we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth? And young people look at that and they say, this doesn't make sense. We can do a lot better than that. Second point is that for young people, this economy is impacting them negatively in a very serious way. If we don't turn it around, it is likely that this young generation will, for the first time in the modern history of America, have a lower standard of living than their parents. In other words, it's the American dream going backwards, where parents are doing better than their kids. And many of these young people here on college campuses, they're leaving school $30,000, $50,000 in debt. And they're going to be having to pay that debt off for decades. And they say, that's not fair. You told us to get an education. You told us how important it is, and now we're stuck with debt, for 20 years. That's wrong. And you know what? They're right. They should not be stuck with that debt. We can do better than that.
Have time for any more? Okay.
Thank you very much.
My only other question, when the Brooklyn Dodgers went to LA, did you defect to the Yankees or the Mets?
Yankees, never.